Hello everyone, welcome back to Pommy and Oz. I hope we're all doing really well. If you are new around here, please drop a like, please drop a subscribe. It does mean the world to me. And what we're doing today is we're dissecting another loss, aren't we? I mean, it's going to be very raw this, just to give you a bit of a 2-1-0. The graphics and stuff for a week probably will be a little bit shabby. My laptop currently is having some things done to it for work-related things, so I've got my old laptop here, so the editing won't be as schmick as you're used to, but we will be back normal at some point in the end of the week. And it was a 28-point defeat to Port, and it was cruisy for Port. And I want to talk and dissect a little bit more about what I think is going wrong, because it feels like it's the same chain of events every video that I do. It feels like we have 2 weeks of decent footy, which kind of papers over the cracks. We put a band-aid on the problem, but all in all, the wound is gaping and it's seeping massively, but we didn't notice it for 2 weeks because we put some perfume on the wound. I think, first of all, for me, and we know I like a little bit of data, and so does Teague. We hear Teague talk about the inside 50 count, and yeah, that's great. We're getting the ball inside 50 more than the opposition, but it's crap entries. It's shoddy entries. We saw this against Richmond as well. Richmond peppered us inside 50, and it doesn't always translate to wins. What it means is that some of your entries are just woeful. All the inside 50 means is the ball has crossed into inside 50. It's by no way a measurement of where you are, of how good you are. If anything, if you have more inside 50s than the side that loses, that just basically says to me that you're inefficient, you're poor, and just for me the standards there, that's where Teague is. And I do question Teague's standards, and it's okay saying, oh Dan, you don't know what it's like behind closed doors. You have a good indication, because look at any boss you've had. You don't really see dramatic changes in who they are as people and how they are and they speak to you. You see the same tendencies, and for me, I look at David Teague's words. We had the pre-game where it was about competing, and it's year 6 in a rebuild. We shouldn't even be looking at competition. Competing should be literally where we are. Like that's a no-brainer. For me, if I try and rebuild something for 6 years, and I'm not bigging myself up, but I'm pretty sure if you gave me any AFL club and gave me 6 years and all the data and all the knowledge and all the help that they have, by 6 years I would build you a pretty good list, and they would be in a pretty good shape. And I think that goes for anyone. When you try and work on something for 6 years, by year 6 it should be nearly there. Should be nearly the completed article. I mean, hell, the Channel Tunnel was built in around that time frame. So, I mean, it beggars belief. And if you look at the stats, I think there's some damning stats that Teague just doesn't even talk about anymore. We rank second last in tackles per game. We rank last in forced errors. And that is indicative of our pressure there. Like, that is indicative in how little we apply pressure. Bearing in mind, we beat up on 2 weak sides. And Ken Corn said that today, and I think he's spot on. We are the high school bully at school. You don't put any resistance or pressure on us, we look pretty good, don't we? We look pretty tasty. We attack the corridor hard. The ball moves fine. We saw it in 5-minute spurts in each quarter against Port. We look dancer, man. Like, even I enjoy it. But when there's a bit of pressure, when there's a little bit of things, we start to see what these boys are made of, what the club is made of, who we are as a team, what we stand for. And what we stand for is quite simple. The passes become hard. The kicks become a little bit hard. The ball becomes heavier. The movement ahead of the ball stops. And before you know it, we are congested. And the reason we're congested is because I question who helps pick this side. Like, for 5 games straight now, we have had an inside midfielder on the wing. You check their heat map, and they naturally do what an inside midfielder does. When you're under pressure, you resort to what makes you feel comfortable. I chew things. That's my pressure. It's something I've had since I was 3. And inside midfielders start to gravitate towards the centre of the ground. What that does, when you ask what Teague does, Teague likes to hit the corridor very quickly. Now, people would say wingers, they're not very important in that. Wingers have a really understated role. If you stay wide, it creates width. So that means that someone of their team has got to go to them players. They can't leave them open because you've always got the easy outlet ball. It takes people away from the centre, which then creates one-on-one contests in the centre. The corridor is not as congested. So then you can do your thing. You can do it. You can attack very quickly because there's less people there. But when it becomes a clusterfuck as it does now, it's very easy to turn over. And you look at Carlton since Teague's turned over the majority of our points are scored from opposition mistakes, scores from turnover. However, our transition from D50 to forward 50 is the bottom 3. And you think Teague's game plan is entirely built on that. Entirely built on that. That is his system. It's quick ball movement, it's transition, it's counterpunch. And them stats are damning. And I question why David Teague doesn't look at them stats. Because the stats, and any stat you look at, say simply since Teague has come, what he's trying to do isn't working. And it does work against the crap sides. That's fantastic. But you don't win flags. Like, when you train anyone, whether it's at work, you train them to be the best they can be. You don't train them to be better than the worst. That's not a mindset. And that is the mindset at the moment. And it's abhorrent. It's abhorrent. We're simply not good enough. We're not simply not good enough. If you can't beat Port, what's the point? You can't beat Collingwood, what's the point? We're the only side to lose to Collingwood. And at the moment, all due respect to Collingwood, they are piss. And it's the same thing. The heart, the intensity, the pressure, the level required isn't enough. And you hear the commentators, they're saying, oh, it's all right, SPS didn't track him back. Jack Nunes, there's that footage going around the internet of him just giving up in the 4th. It's a bit too hard. And that's a damnation of anyone. I don't care if you're an elite sportsman or you work at Coles. If it's a bit too hard for you, don't be there. Because there is 1,000 people that'll do it. And we're allowing this to happen. I'm the world's worst. I'm going to pick on me. I get proper excited when we show it. When we beat Gold Coast, I'm, getting tattoos at Carlton Football Club. But let's be honest, it papers over the cracks. Our want to win supersedes the will. And that's the problem. The fan base wants to win, but the will to win isn't there from the players. And we make excuses for them. I've seen it already on the forums. We beat the inside 50 count. Teague says the same thing. We've got injuries. No one's out. Like, look at our injury list. You're telling me that Curnow would have kicked 10 to win that game? Telling me Marchbank would have stopped 5 goals? Yeah, it's 5 goals, do you know what I mean? And it wouldn't. There's no one in our injury list, even TDK, wouldn't have made a difference. Because systematically we're poor. Our selections are the most barbaric in AFL history. Like, Tom Williamson, what did he do to come back in? He was played at full forward when Wheaterin went injured so McGovern could go down back. That is a coach saying to you, I don't know what to do with Willow. Out of ideas. I mean, Willow has nothing that possesses to me that he's a full forward. Matt Kennedy, the opportunity of a lifetime, really. He's the peripheral 23rd player, isn't he? He's the peripheral guy that's on the outer, that is devoid of opportunity and needs opportunity. This is his opportunity, this game. And again, he failed. Again, he failed. There is no difference between playing 20, 40, 50 minutes in opportunity levels. And that is where I question the culture and the fabric of the club. Because you grab that by 2 hands. The short and curlies impact it. And I don't blame Kennedy because he was stuck on the wing for most of the game. That's not his position. He's an underplayer. But I question again why he was selected. You can't pick the best 22 players. You have to pick the best 22 via position. That comes into it. And they have the same data as I did. And I hated sending the message. A good friend of mine sent me a message saying, Pom, I want to have a bet on your team. What's the going to result? And I was like, looking at the matchups, looking at the raw data, we'll be lucky to get within 40 points. We'll be lucky. And he was like, are you serious? And I was like, nah. And I sent that to a few Carlton fans, and they were upset. But they're the facts. It was written in the game before it came out. And you can Talk to the cows come home. Top 3 now in clearances. Top 5 in hit-outs per game. But it means bugger all because there's nothing that backs it up. The clearances just go straight to them. They're lazy clearances. The hit-outs, it's okay, we get the hit out, but we don't do anything with it. We can have the ball all day and not do anything with it, and that is the problem. And it's starting to become a habit. It's becoming habitual that we're average. It's becoming habitual that we do it against the crap teams, but we don't do it against the good teams. And I don't care what type of fan you are, if you're a positive or you're a negative one. If you're accepting that we're not anywhere near the 8, and I'm telling you now, there is no stat you can find me that suggests we're anywhere near the 8. It's real talk time. We are so far away from the 8, it's Banterville. It's banter. And to even say we're close to the 8 is a disgrace on a game that I love. So can't say it. And there is nothing that proves it. You look at the players that came out last night, and the players that step up, again the same people. Fogg, young kid, second chance at footy, showing it, Sam Walsh. And these are the small positives, and I don't even see them as positives anymore because you're killing them, man. Like Sam Walsh, if he's got any nous about him, he's too good to be a Mark Murphy and play for us. He's too good. He needs to go and play for a proper team. Because the way it is at the moment, we accept mediocrity from the board, down to the coaching staff, down to us. It filters down. We're just accepting it. It's okay beating Gold Coast and Freo because we've got Kerno out. He was fucking shit hot in 2017 and 18, wasn't he? But he hasn't played for 3 years, and I love Charlie. He's my favourite player. But you look at that injury list. If they were fit and available and hadn't played VFL, you wouldn't select them, man. Brody Kemp, I'm hearing his name. Oh, he comes back. That'll change us. He's a very good footballer, but he's a first-year player. He's a first-year player. He hasn't played an AFL game. Stocker's there, killing it, 32 touches. 38 touches, can't get in the game. Keeps doing it. The selection integrity, and he played down halfback. And Willow is selected. Let that sink in. Played down the back his last 2 games. Absolutely killed it. Floated through the middle. We've got a defender who can play in the midfield. It's probably the only place we don't rotate. And he's been converted to a defender. Do I like it? No, I don't. But he's got some facets that impress me. His pressure, his ball use, his ability to kick off both feet, his vision, the fact he takes the game on, and he loves attacking the corridor. And we play Williamson because he had an average game in a VFL Paraki match. Because that's what we do at Carlton Football Club. He's got a decent hairstyle. Potentially could be good. But is he good? The guy has got the spatial awareness of a Renault Espace, man. He's like... And I love Willow, but he's got a big kick. I can find you 1,000 players who play country football that can kick the ball a bit long. And have got funky hairstyles. I could probably find you 500. Give me 20 minutes. And it's mental, because we do the same things week in, week out. I say the same things after a defeat. I'm a POM. Have some respect, Carlton. An Englishman has dissected your game quicker than you guys do, and you get paid for this. You won't get that in soccer, and ours is a global game. But it's always the POMs that lead the way in analytics and data entry. Because we care. We care. We have a bit of thought and a bit of pride. And there is no thought and pride. When you ask how you fix this club, start by picking the best 22 positionally. And I hate to say it, if we're playing wings, you're either playing Cunners, you're either playing Philp, you're playing Lockie O'Brien. You have to have them too. Cottrell's doing a great job because he's a winger. He brings it. They're not going to get 20 touches. They're going to get 10, 15. Their depth is their spatial awareness. Another guy we're going to talk about is Mitch McGovern. You can't play Mitch McGovern and Levi Casbolt and Harry. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. Please stop it. It's inane. It's pointless. It's ridiculous. Casbolt kicked 2 goals. Bully. Goals don't count if you don't win. Right? They're irrelevant. They are just part of a mantra. Levi Casbolt's game, I don't care what you say. Aside from them 2 goals, why was he there? Mitch McGovern, 700k, does it against VFL sides. They get in each other's way. They don't create anything. He went down the back and he did okay. But it was madness at points at times. Like, Mitch McGovern didn't even know which area to go to get a team talk. Was he a defender? Was he a forward? We have Jacob Wheaterin evidently telling people he's okay. When the rules clearly state you lose consciousness, you leave the ground and have a concussion test. Like, For me, that's great that he wants to play, but it's a lack of guide. It's a lack of leadership. Someone should have just pulled him to one side and said, bro, I'm your captain. You ain't playing. Sorry. And he accepts it because that's what leaderships do. Leadership works both ways. You tell people, but you've also got to have the respect to listen to it. There's no leaders on the field. They just kind of do what they want. And you hear it in Teague's words. Express ourselves. Play our way. Fuck that. These guys do not deserve to have a rope so they can just do what they want. They need clear guidance and instruction because it's chaos. It's chaos. I see it from 60 kilometres away. Teague is on top of them and around them every day. And he doesn't see it because it's okay, because it's a little bit too hard. I mean, the players might get upset, mightn't they? They're on six figures. Once you're getting paid for something, you take feedback. You take feedback because your duty to accept a paycheck is to improve and perform. They are your prerequisites. And in a sporting area, that's from the fans you're accountable for, the club, the directors, the coaching staff, and more importantly, each other. It is important that we accept that as fans, that they can get feedback. They need feedback, and by hell, they should listen to it. There's 80,000 members signed up, man, during COVID. And we've got fans who believe the bollocks from the club. You know, this whole PR stunt that we do. And it's PR all the time from this club. This club is like, should run for government. Honestly, they should run for government because it's great. Now turning fans on each other because only 35,000 turned up. Where are the blue baggers? Oh, let's pack it out. Newsflash, people are suffering at the moment. Depression's on the rise. People are losing jobs, losing their homes. Go to VCAT about people getting evicted from the house. It's a world record number. Oh, but it's okay, no one's turning up. Like some dude who's a Carlton fan has probably kept his membership and he's behind on rent. Credit to you, mate, but you didn't turn up, you're a piece of shit. Tell you what, the only people that need to turn up and we worry about is the 22 blokes that wear the navy blue on a Saturday arvo. And if they can't turn up, they're the ones who get vilified, not the people that don't turn it up. So that needs to stop now. The fans need to stick together. And I'll give you a cause to follow. It ain't, is everyone happy? Is everyone enjoying themselves? It's 4 fucking points on a weekend. That is all that matters. Screw development. It's 6 years into it. We've had 5 years of redevelopment. Who cares? I don't care. You don't care. No one should do. What we care about is wins. Wins is all that counts. That is all that matters here on in. And that's how we get behind it. If we don't get the wins, we complain. We complain and we discuss as a group, create a discourse of why. Because at the moment, the coaching staff aren't doing it. And I agree with Kane Corns. At times, you've got to be public with the fans. You've got to back us in. Teague knows the criticism from the fans is he doesn't get angry enough. It's time to show he cares in press conferences because he's treating you all like idiots. Inside 50s have not been a measurement of wins and success since they've been correlated. There is no things. He's treating every paying fan, everyone that says our navy blue, as morons because he can get away with it. And that is on him. Because if he had any respect for us as a club, he would address the concerns that were obvious during the game, that were obvious after it, that have lied at this club since 2017. And he doesn't do it. And that's because he doesn't take it serious. He doesn't take the fans serious. And I don't believe the club do. And it's time that we ask that question. Moving forward from here, how do you fix it, Pommy? How do you fix it? You start by picking the best 22 based on form, not this mythical ceiling, on form. On form. If the over 30s aren't giving us 7 out of 10 every week, it's the next and we go for youngest with form. It's an honour to wear the blue and be paid for it. And number 2, you pick the best via position. If Stocker, if Dow are all killing it and you have one spot on the outside, you bring a winger in. Do you know what I mean? You bring a winger in. You don't go, oh, Stocker might be able to play wing. You know what I mean? We need him in. You play your best position. So that means that Stocker, if he's now a half-back flank, comes in for freaking Williamson. If that's where they think he does look comfortable there, I'll give him that. You play him there. You don't bring him in and hope you can fit them in. And what we do from here on in is we go back to basics. These boys need to train like it matters. Because at the moment I've been to training, it's lackadaisical. It's everyone playing with their mates. There's no pressure. We're not going to hurt you too hard. But in a game, guess what? That intensity level lifts. That intensity level lifts. You watch our exits from D50 and it's slow, it's arduous, and it ends up in one simple thing. A boot long down the ball and we give possession back. Gone is what we saw in pre-season, where Carlton are willing to play it down the back like good teams do, looking for that outlet ball, because no one moves anymore, because it is a bit too hard. There's a little bit of pressure on this game. 4 points is a long way away, and you saw that. And that is how you change it. And if you can't get the players who are doing it now to do it, you find them in the list. And if they're not there, we go out and buy them. And that is how we redevelop. It's time for a new Carlton Football Club that sets its standards on wins. Not mythical things like development, not mythical things about aren't we all happy, isn't it great to have a beer and hold each other's hands at the game. This is a win-loss business. Everything else is inconsequential. Morale is good when you win. You only talk about morale when you're losing because you've got nothing to get happy about. Times are gone now. Pressure's hard. This club means a hell of a fucking lot. 80,000 people backed you in the deepest, darkest year that most Melbourneians have had, most Australians have had, most people have had globally. People have missed funerals, missed weddings, missed everything. And if you can't back it up when you talk so good, don't bother. There's people that will do this job for free. It's time we remembered that. We're Carlton Football Club. We're better than this. And it hurts to say we are a long way away. I'm not looking forward to Brisbane. Already it looks like that could be a foregone conclusion. Let's hope they prove them wrong. Let's ask the questions. And let's not accept we're trying as an answer anymore. I love you all. This club is the best club in the land. Means something. Pom out.